money do you guys actually need to start your Amazon business? This is probably the number one question that you guys have asked or thought, and that I get personally asked on a daily basis. And to answer that question, it really comes down to separating the costs and taking a look at what is needed, that is 100% needed in regards to starting your business. And for each one of you watching, the cost is going to be different. And why is because on your product cost is what is going to actually change in regards to what your final cost is going to be. In some cases, you might get away with purchasing 300 products. In some cases, you might have to order 1,000 products. So that is going to change the cost. But I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of the cost so that you guys can take a look at that. Okay. So number one is going to be business registrations. Like I mentioned, you are not required to actually have a business license. And you also do not need an LLC to start. However, if you do decide to get an LLC, and the reason I'm putting this here as number one is because for some reason, even though I tell students and I preach this on my YouTube videos that you do not need this, for some reason people think that they must get it. They cannot start without getting it, and something that's preventing them from starting instead. If they don't do this, they're not going to start. So if that's you guys and you don't want to listen to my advice, or you still think that no matter what I say you want to protect yourself and set this up properly, then go ahead, go get an LLC. You can go through LegalZoom, and the fees are usually around $159 plus their fees to get it done. Okay, so that's number one. But like I said, for most of you guys, you do not need this right off the bat. Step number two is going to be your Amazon account. So like we mentioned, you're going to start with the individual account. It's going to be completely free, and then once you start selling your products, you're going to switch it to the professional account, which is going to be $39.99 a month. Okay, so far we're at $39.99 a month once you start selling your product. Step number three, which is going to be the most important one, is going to be the research tools, okay? So for the research tools, we're going to have a topic about that, or I'm going to talk to you guys about that in the next module here, but it's very, very important in regards to why you need a product research tool, and the reasoning behind it. Now, it doesn't matter if it's free or if it's paid tool, but you do need a research tool, guys, to be able to validate these products to ensure that they're making money, that that the products are going to be worth moving forward with, and that you guys are going to be able to make money. Okay. Now it's important, guys, to understand that these product research tools are not 100% accurate. They're basing it off a lot of different data points, and they're not 100% accurate. Okay. So the best one right now that I would recommend, there's two that I would recommend, would be Viral Launch, which is $99 a month. They have two different two different options. We're going to get to that in a different video, but pretty much what happens with this is you would just go into it and you would just put in your criteria. So you would tell Viral Launch to show you products that make $10,000 a month, that have 5 reviews, or that have under 50 reviews, that have under a certain amount of sellers, whatever the case may be. You put in all your search criteria, you click search, and it's going to run the database on Amazon and show you all the products that fit that criteria, okay? So it's a very, very good program. Viral Launch is probably the best out there. The next one I would talk about is Helium 10. I'm going to go into a video about Helium 10 in Module 1 in regards to why you guys should be using Helium 10. It's the number one program I recommend and I use all the time. But for this one, the next one you guys might know is going to be Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout is good. The issue with Jungle Scout is they're not 100% accurate. They are the biggest player on Amazon in regards to product research tool. Almost every single seller uses them. I made a video on YouTube that you guys can definitely watch in regards to product research tools. I took my product and I compared it against 5 product research tools to find out exactly which tool would give me the most accurate number of sales per month. And Jungle Scout was one of the highest in regards to being off by 30 to 40% on some cases. So you see a number, it shows that they're doing 1,000 sales a month, but in reality they're doing 40% less than that. So they're actually only doing 600 sales a month. Okay. So in regards to the pricing for Jungle Scout, they have 2 different options. You can get it for the $97 one-time payment or $197. It's just a Chrome extension. Like I said, this video is just talking to you about prices. In Module 1, I'll break down exactly what the difference are in between the Jungle Scout tools, but that's the cost is in regards to it. It's $197. The next one is for product research tools. You can just get Unicorn Smasher. It's a Chrome extension. This is completely free, and same thing as Jungle Scout, they're just pulling information from the Amazon website to give you an estimate of what these sellers are doing in sales. So it doesn't matter, guys, again, which tool you guys use, if it's paid or free, but you should be getting a product research tool so you guys can validate the product, okay? So next thing on the list is going to be a logo. So because you're creating your own brand, you're doing a private label, you will need to get a logo created. So that's super simple, guys. You go to a website called Fiverr and you hire someone. It could be $5 all the way to $50, even sometimes $200, depending on what you're willing to spend. But you can get away with about $30-$40. You can get a really high quality logo done. And you can now use that for your product, your packaging, photos, your listing, product inserts, email follow-ups, whatever the case may be. You can now use this logo. But like I said, don't spend too much money, and just let the professionals create it. Let them know what you're looking for, colors, design-wise, what you have in mind, and just go to Fiverr, guys. It's $5 to $50, and you guys can get yourself a great logo, okay? Next thing you guys are going to need is going to be a UPC code. So this is probably super confusing for people. We're going to have a module that's talking specifically about UPC codes. If you guys want to read this, you're more than welcome to. But this video is just to talk to you guys about pricing. But it comes down to 3 different companies that you guys can get a barcode from. And pretty much what the UPC barcode is, it's not for your product, it's actually for the listing. So when you're creating an Amazon listing on Amazon, you need to put a UPC code into the listing. And this is where you're going to have to go to a company. So there's 3 different companies. There's GS1, there's Barcodes Mania, and Nationwide Barcode. Now, GS1 Barcode is the official Amazon partner. Now, it's not required, it's not mandatory to actually get this barcode through GS1. It's just highly recommended because Amazon is partnered with them. And number 2, you're never going to run into the case that you purchase a barcode that's been used on a different product. And it does happen sometimes if you get it from a third party, then you go to insert it on Amazon, and Amazon says, no, this barcode was already used. Okay, so that's not going to happen with GS1, but GS1 typically costs around $300 for 1 to 10 barcodes, and that's why when I said starting out, I wouldn't recommend it. I would go to Barcodes Mania or Nationwide Barcode, where you can purchase 1 barcode at a time for $5 or $10, depending on who you go with, and it's the exact same thing as GS1, and yeah, it's the exact same thing, guys. So you just get a cheap barcode. It's not recommended. Like I said, you don't need to do it. And worst case, guys, if you get a barcode from Barcodes Mania for $5 and Amazon comes back and says, no, we've changed our rules, it's now mandatory to go through GS1. Well, all you have to do is just go to GS1 and pay that $300 to get the barcode, okay? But for the start, we want to keep our costs as low as possible. The next thing you guys are going to possibly need is going to be samples. So this is a step that a lot of people skip out. Before placing an order for a lot of units, they don't even see the product, they don't feel it, smell it, touch it, look at it, or get advice from friends and family. They just decide to move forward, purchase, 500 units, and then let the customers be the first one to see it and give feedback. And sometimes that's an issue, it's a problem. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. So I would recommend getting a sample so that you guys can view it and, like I said, touch it, see it, feel it. If there's any changes that have to be made, then you can make those changes and let the supplier know. So typically suppliers will charge about, $50, $60, all the way up to $200 for a sample. That's including shipping. Now, I know that might seem like a lot of money, but the thing is, once you guys actually place that order with the supplier, like a bigger order of 500 units or more, you can negotiate with them to have them refund you that sample. And the reason they charge so much for a sample is because back in the days, people took advantage of them, where they'd go and contact a bunch of suppliers and just get a bunch of free products and never actually purchase from them. So the suppliers, to protect themselves, is they charge you a high amount for the sample, and then if you purchase a bulk amount from them, they will refund you the sample fee, okay? So don't worry about that. Now, in regards to samples, like I said, it's not always necessary. I know a lot of people talk about you must get it, and it really comes down to the product that you're doing. If the product is fragile, it's, electronics, or has batteries, or it's something that you definitely need to feel and see and touch and test out, then 100% get it. But if you're ordering something like, packing tape, let's just say, you really don't need to test that out. You guys know what packing tape does, and your customer knows the exact same thing. They know what packing tape does. I would not recommend getting a sample and wasting time for that. But if you're ordering something, like a defrosting meat tray that, you're going to put your steak or meat on, and it's going to defrost within 10 minutes, then yeah, that's something that you possibly want to try out, test out, and, see if the water is going to leak, if there's any changes, and so on and so forth. Okay, so products like that, 100%, I would get a sample. But for other products on the other side, you don't need to test them out. Okay. Next thing, which is going to be the biggest cost to start your Amazon business, is going to be inventory. Okay. Now, with that being said, guys, it's completely more affordable than a traditional business. If you're going to think of a brick and mortar, retail store that you guys are going to be starting, you guys are most likely going to be spending, 70, 80, 90,000, if not more, to just get started. On most cases, and that's a low end. Now, typically, to start a successful business with all the inventory and staff and, everything that you guys need, you're probably looking at over 100, 150,000 just to get started. So with Amazon, you don't need that much, especially with inventory. I'm going to break it down for you guys in regards to what's needed. Now, before you do this, it's important for inventory to understand that you want to aim to purchase around 300 to 500 for your first order. Now, I know there's some sellers out there that preach that you should order 1,000 up front and, go big or go home. And I do not believe in that model. And the reason behind it is this. What happens if you guys purchase 1,000 units and for some reason you did your product research wrong, or you did your product research right, but the market completely changes and fluctuates, and now, sales aren't what it was when you did your research? Because remember, once you do your research and by the time you purchase the product and it gets to Amazon, that could be, 30 days to, 2 months delay. And in those 2 months, things can completely change. So you order 1,000 and now you're stuck with those products for 4, 5, 6, 7 months to try to get rid of it. Then Amazon starts slapping you with Amazon storage fees, and that order now becomes not profitable, and it might actually put a sour taste in your mouth to continue with the Amazon model. Now, this is why I recommend 300 to 500. Nothing under 300, and the reason behind it is because you most likely are going to have to do a giveaway launch, which we're going to talk about later, and you're probably going to have to give away, 50 to 100, maybe even 150 units for free, so that you guys can actually rank to page 1. So like I said, we'll talk about that later, but you have to be in the mindset that you have to give away free products so you guys can get to the top of page 1. Whoever is able to give away the most products for free, the longest, is going to win this Amazon business game, okay? So I'm going to, like I said, talk to you guys about that later. And then the reason you don't want to go over 500 is because if the product doesn't sell, then you're going to be stuck with inventory. The only time, guys, the only time that you should be ordering over 500 is if you have a product that you are 100% certain that all the sellers are killing it with sales and everyone's doing, over 1,000 sales a month. They're doing, 1,500 sales a month, and you know that you're going to come in with a better product, better listing, better photos, and you're going to dominate. Then yes, that might be a case that you don't want to order under 1,000 because you're going to run out of stock, and then it's going to hurt your ranking, and you're going to have to start all over. So yes, in a case like that, I would recommend ordering over 1,000. But at the start, guys, the products that we're going to be doing product research for, we're not going to try to find products that do 1,500 sales a month. We're going to find products that do, 300 to 700 sales a month. So it gives you time to reorder and grow and scale properly. Okay. Obviously, if you find a product that does more, 1,000, 2,000 sales a month, obviously, it makes sense. The numbers make sense, and the competition's low. Then yes, you're definitely going to be launching that product. Now, in regards to cost, though, because I'm rambling off for inventory, guys, let's just take a look at an example for how much it's going to cost. So let's just say our product cost is $2.50 per product, and you decide to purchase 300 units, okay? So $2.50 times 300 units is $750. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, how can I buy a $2.50 product? There are a lot of products on Alibaba that you can purchase for that price, okay? Now, for shipping, you always want to do DDP, which is delivered duty paid, or door-to-door is what I call it. And that means the supplier is responsible for everything. So again, guys, we're going to talk about this in a different module, but pretty much what it means is the supplier is responsible for taking the shipment from China and having it arrive at Amazon. They take care of everything in regards to fees, custom fees, shipping, finding a freight forwarder. They take care of everything. You don't have to do anything. They take care of everything for you, and they typically cost about $1 to $2 per unit using DDP. Okay, so if we use our example again, we had the $2.50 cost, plus let's just say $1 shipping. We're now, times that by 300 units, we're now looking at about $1,000 to order 300 units for this product, okay? So 300 products will equal out $1,000. So typically, like I said, your cost will probably be double this if you have to order, let's just say it's $5